You can start.
All
You can start.
right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Bamshile Tulilokwe, and I'm a project manager at PM Income Dev Center. And going to be speaking on my KD this morning. My knowledge is going to be about creating a risk management plan. And we all know that as project manager, we have to put in risk management. We have to add the risks to whatever project we are trying to build. So this risk management plan will help us to get the right ways to put in to add risk management to our project so that we are very prepared for whenever the risk shows up, so we can easily tackle them. So I'm going to be taking us through some methods to be able to do that. So what are risk management plans? A risk management plan is a document created by a project manager that identifies potential risk for a project. The document allows the project manager to estimate the risk, possible effects, and their probability of occurring. Once the project team recognizes potential risk, its member can begin developing response strategy to help them mitigate or avoid this event and maintain a smooth project process. The project plan enables them to prepare for unexpected events and feel confident about navigating risky they occur. So a project management plan helps a project manager in navigating risk. So this project management plan that they have set at the beginning of the project, when they are defining the scope of the project, will help them be able to say, okay, if this just occurs, this is how we are going to tackle it. This is who is going to tackle it. And these are the resources available for the person to be able to tackle this actual risk, so that the project or product won't have any failure or any process shortage. So move to the next slide. So different type of risk. We have technical risk, we have project management risk, we have organization risk, and we have external risk. For the technical risk, this category represents specific risks related to the project, such as risks based on the technology used or the finished product requirements, performance, and quality. So technical risk depends on the technology used for the project. So like when you are trying to you are making a project now. So you want to start the project now. You are going to use some technology to complete that project. So there might be risk in that technology being used. Maybe that technology is outdated, or maybe it does not suit the project that you are having. So there might be risk embedded in that technology. So that's where technical risks come from, and that's one type of risk that a project can face. Another one is project management risk, which is a category that represents risk associated with the project management process, such as project planning, scheduling, budget, and resource. So in project management risk, after, let's say, the risk is come from when you do not plan very well, or maybe when the budget that you have is too small. That's a risk for the project. When you check the scope, the three scopes, to check if your to check if the budget to be enough, and you see the budget is not going to take on the project. That's a risk that has to be sorted. And you have to put means in place to maybe buffer the budget, maybe add more for tell the project sponsor that, I won't be able to do this because of the budget available won't give you this won't provide these amenities for you that you want on your project. So but if you want it, you can add more budget to it, so that way you will clear that risk and you'll be able to provide on time what the project management, the project sponsor wants. And all the risks that has to do with project management process, from planning to initiation, from initiation, planning, execution, and control to the final stage. That's where project management is come from, because there are risks in each and every one of those stages, and all those are embedded into the project management risk. We have the organizational risk. The categorization, the risks that may arise because of organization factors such as logistics, project dependency, and resources. So the organization risk just basically means that as an organization, what the organization what they depend on for that project to be completed, what resources are available for that project to be completed, what are their capacities, and they don't have enough human resources to get them done. Is it enough? That's the risk to check. Let's say you don't have enough human resources to get a project done and you project that is more than your capability. It is a risk because you won't be able to deliver at time because your available resources can't provide the the result that I want within the given time. So that will be a risk, and the risk management plan, risk management will be able to put that into check and will be able to show you that, oh, this can't work because of this reason. You will need to get more people, you need to get more money, you need to get maybe external sourcing for that project to be able to get done if you want to take it on. And then the external risks represent the costs by entities outside the organization, such as customer, user, or market. So risks based on other entities outside your organization. That means people that are going to be using your products that you are trying to create, or the customer, the consumers, what they need, what to check if their needs have been achieved, what they want. So it's a risk because you don't know, say, human wants are ever changing. So you might give them this today, and next thing you see that they are not interested in it. So you must find a way that your project or project must fit in and satisfy that exact customer's need, because humans want change. So you can't always satisfy, but you can always find a way to provide this kind of means that if it changes and they want an improvement, you'll be able to put it up and you'll be able to take it up and analyze it, get a design, strategize it, and start working on that service of that project that they want. So those are risks that are based on that project management risks. So now, how to create a risk management plan. Next slide. So firstly, the first thing you do when you're trying to create a risk management plan is identify the potential risk. So to develop your risk management plan, you and your team member need to identify risks that could affect your project. You can use the different risk categories to recognize the potential of certain and unexpected events you may encounter. You can use several methods to identify the risk. So firstly, the first thing you do when you want to create a risk management plan, identify the risks, because you can't go ahead to fix a problem you don't know. So first thing is, now that we have a risk that is coming up. Oh, it's a resource risk. That means it's a project management risk. There's a process failure. We did not plan for this. Or we are checking, we see it's an organization risk. Our capabilities, our resources that we have are not enough. So you have identified that you don't have enough resources for this project. You already know the problem is already known. So now you are trying to fix that problem. So the way you can do this is that you can use plenty method to identify risk. So please to the next slide. Yeah, firstly, methods to identify risk. So we have some few methods that you can use to identify risk during. Firstly, host a risk workshop. So you and your team can come up and say, we want to gather your team member for a group of brainstorming section. So allow everyone an opportunity to share their thoughts. Everyone has a unique perspective, and bringing them together might allow you to the potential risks that you may not have recognized yourself. So hosting a risk workshop where you want your team members, you and your team member come that, okay, this workshop we're having is just to analyze risk when you're using this product. Put your product out there to check that, okay, what if this product, what if these risks occur? Why are you using this? You can ask me that, I can say, if I'm using this product, I want my users to be able to make requests. I want them to be able to buy stuff through the app I'm trying to create. Another person can see something else that you did not notice that he will want on his app. Like, let me say he wants to be able to make calls through the app. Another person can see it and say that, the person wants to be able to maybe send feedback to you through the app. So while you are putting all those together, you can be seeing that, oh, these are you can now put all their ideas that they are put them into one place and say that, oh, I think we need to implement all this into our app, so that there are some that you feel like, yeah, they are very, very important and needs to be there. And there are some that can still be held on to. That way you start sorting instead of you to do it, because you can't do everything at once. So start sorting. So if you can put everything, different perspective, it's not only, you're not the only one using the product. You're having other people that want to use the product. So if you are going to create it for other people, you must put them into consideration while creating the project. Holding interview with stakeholders. You can also speak one-on-one with the key project stakeholders, such as project sponsor or subject matter expert, to gain risk insight. This individual may highlight potential risks based on their, potential expertise on or work on similar projects. So you can meet with stakeholders, people that have done the same project with you, that are more experienced than you. You can have talk with them, ask them that, oh, while you were creating this project that last time, what risks do you face? What risks do you face? How do you solve them? So they can tell you that, oh, this is the problem your project will have if you keep going like this, and this is the way we can fix it for you. And you can ask the stakeholders as project sponsor, what risks do you feel like this project I'm working on? What would they have? They'll tell you, oh, you can. It might end up having this type of issue. It might end up having this type of issue. So from there, you can be able to sort out those, fix it. Assessing your potential, your project assumptions. Project assumptions represent your beliefs about the project based on your prior experience. Assumption may pose risk because they may not happen. So spend time evaluating their validity or likelihood of outcome, mitigate them. So this place just saying, most of the time while you are creating projects, you as a project manager, you want to assume scenarios that can cause maybe a problem using the product you are trying to create. So those sometimes the assumptions might not come to reality. Sometimes maybe you are like someone that is a big dreamer and all that. You might thinking that, oh, let's say why using the app? Then I'm just using this as an example. It's not something that is factual. So why using the app? They will say I'm trying to protect it from asteroids that are falling from the sky. That would be kind of impossible, because before an asteroid will drop from the sky and maybe disable network to affect your app, it does not seem it's not something you can protect against. So it's not very valid. It's not like it's not possible, it's not valid. So you have to check the validity. You have to know if this is happening or with other people that have the same products that you are making. You have to check the risks that happen with their own, to know that, oh, this thing is common among their app. I can try to fix it on my own, who will give you more edge over them. So your assumption must be based on facts you have gotten from other people. So whenever you want to make assumption, make it on facts that are available, not just bringing up ideas. So next slide, please. So the second step after you identify your risks, the next thing is to analyze the potential risk. So once you have identified potential risk, you can begin assessing their qualitative, quantitative effects on the project. You typically examine risk based on three factors: the consequence of this risk, the likelihood of occurring, and the impact on your project. After defining consequence, you can score the risk likelihood on scales for low probability to high probability of low occurrence, and rate the potential impact as low, medium, high, or high. The score can help you prioritize and plan for the most urgent risks. You may use the risk assessment matrix to organize your thoughts. So yeah, you are trying to analyze the potential risks. You've gotten different risks from different people. That means when you are trying to, when you are doing that brainstorming, when you have gone to meet your project sponsor, he told you a lot of things, when you have been bringing your own assumptions into the place. So all these now, you try to analyze those risks. Now, there is there is this way that you can use called the risk assessment matrix, and this is the image, and this is how it is. So it is based on likelihood and impact. So likelihood means that how much would it happen on the scale of 1 to 100? How likely would it happen? And impact is impact on your product. Is it going to affect my product? How much would it affect my product? So from 0 to 25%. See, those are so all those ones on green, they are less likely to affect, and why the ones on red, and that means they are critical. They are going to affect your product. So you can tell. So any product that you say that you see that is on, just let's say the likelihood of it happening is between 0 to 25, and it's a minor. That means the likelihood is that it might not really happen. And the one that is critical, but the likelihood is 0. That means it might not happen. So you can still push it down. You can still hold on it, or give it to someone else to work on it. But the ones on red, that shows red, that means they are going to impact your project. That means they are going to affect your project. They are going to affect your project. So you have to actually plan for them, because they are critical and their likelihood is very high. That means within 76 to 100%. And the other one, 51 to 76%, and it is major for the second one, for the major one, and the moderate one also is high. So all those red one means they are going to happen, and it is critical to, and the impact is high on your project. So that means you have to actually create a risk plan against them to solve them. So why those ones on yellow is that, yeah, they are going to happen, but it might not really affect your impact, will not be that high, but it's still good to plan for them. It's still good to have risk solvers to be able to solve those risks, but it might not really affect your project the way the critical ones would affect. And the ones on green means their likelihood of happening is so low. So that this will help you to guide that, okay, now this is what I'm going to, these are the risks I'm planning on. These are the ones I'm going to put into place to be able to help mitigate the occurrence of this risk on my product. So next slide. So after you've identified, you have analyzed, the next thing is that you are going to develop a response. Obviously now, you know your problem, you know your risk, you've analyzed it, you already know the one you want to work on. Next thing is, so how would I respond to this risk if it happens? Which resources do I have in place to ask to help me break down this, to help me to solve this problem if they occur? So this is what you are doing in this stage. You are developing a response to that risk. So one of the primary objectives of risk management plan is to manage, mitigate, or avoid the impact of risks on your project. After identifying and analyzing risk, you can begin developing prevention and response strategies. The strategies typically focus on eliminating risk and lowering the impacts. During this step, consider reviewing your project management plan to help you craft out your strategy. Understanding the project scope, timeline, budget, and available resources can help you develop specific and actionable purposes. So during this process, when you're developing a response to the risk, this is where you are doing your project management plan. You know, when you're trying to initialize, when you're doing that plan, during that planning stage, that way you have to plan for risks also. So you have checked that, okay, this is going to be my issue. So I need to find a way to get more resources. If it's going to be, when I mean resources, I mean both human resources and financial resources, and or other parties that might be, every resources that are going to make them come to being. So you can also check your capabilities. Are they enough for this project? Do I have enough? They have enough resources. They have things that will bring this project into accomplishment. So if you see that, then then from there, your scope will be able to, you'll be able to analyze your scope and tell them that I'm putting there that, okay, I can't analyze, I can't get this. So I have to reduce the effect of this risk, or to even remove it completely if it's possible. Because there are some risks that it's not possible to remove, but you can reduce the likeliness of it happening. You can reduce it. So if you can reduce the likeliness, yeah. So I think the next thing for you is just to the next thing for you is to sorry. If you can reduce the likeliness, that means you can try to put in resources in place to reduce it and always ready to solve it. So next slide. Okay, and assign roles and responsibility. After you've developed a strategy to help you reduce it, then you have to assign roles. That people that will actually do it, people that would bring it into accomplishment. So because roles are going to be assigned to individuals. So as an individual, I have a responsibility, a function. Set of people, can be a group of people to face that risk, to go against that risk. So if you have that function, these people, they are performing this function, they have these resources, they have these capabilities, they have all these they have these financial resources as if they need it to be able to face that risk. So they are always on standby to mitigate that risk, to be able to reduce the effects of that risk. So that's what you are doing in this stage. After you've identified, after you've analyzed, after you have developed, you give it to people to do. And now go back. You go to the next slide. Determine your risk tolerance. Your risk assessment matrix enable your team to identify the impact and probability of various risks. Discuss these results with relevant stakeholders to assess their comfort level in some situations. They may determine that the negative impacts are requiring the team to adjust the project plan, or its scope is to avoid those risks. This stakeholder may also offer guidance related to response strategy, helping you to ensure alignment with the project objective. So yeah, the risk tolerance is that, okay, after you've done your matrix to analyze, so I'm going to discuss it with your team, to let them know, picture it so that they can see, okay, now these are the major risks that we have and these are the minor ones that we have. So also you have to discuss it with your stakeholders, your sponsor, to be able to know where they stand. That, okay, if it's too high, if they're not going to go on with the project, or if they're going to go on, they need to add more maybe resources, add more whatever they need. And also if it's possible for them to give you guidance on how to go about it so that the goal of the project is going to be met. So yeah, all those things come in when you are determining your risk management plan. So the next slide. Now, create a risk register. So you have to have where you store your risk, all those risks that you say that you are going to face, every risk that you are going to have during on the project. You have to have a register where you register those risks and you put the persons or the roles that have been assigned to an individual to know who are going to solve it. And if the resources they are going to need also can be placed there according to what is on our screen here. So the persons, the severity, the owner, and the mitigation actions, how the person is going to go about it, and describe the risks and also dates that it's being raised. So you have to put the dates, the person, so as a risk register. So you have to put the likelihood. Now, after you have done your risk matrix, the risk matrix will be able to help you create this risk register where you would be able to color code them. The one that is severe and the one that is medium, or the one that is not. The likelihood is not even sure to really happen that much. So with a risk register, you can always know the risk that will happen and the persons are going to be able to solve that. So you can always just put your risk register. Okay, you say this is going to happen, and the user, end user of the product is saying, okay, this risk has happened. Okay, send fix that available resources to do that. So this way, we don't need to just be it does not need for the risks to show up before we now start planning for the risks. We have already planned for the risks and gives us an higher edge over people that don't have a risk management plan. Next slide. Yeah. So a typical risk management plan may contain the following columns: the risk, the consequence or impact, the probability, that's the likelihood, and the priority, how important the risk is, and the response plan, how they are going to respond to the risk, and the risk owner, the person that is in charge of the risk, the person that is to provide solution to that risk, the expert that is. So next slide. So after all that's been done, continue monitoring the risk. In project management, the risk often represent an unprecedented event. Why you may create a risk management plan at the beginning of the project, continue monitoring and identifying risks throughout the project. When your team discover a potential additional risk, you can add it to your plan and proceed with analyzing it and developing a response. Remind the risk owner to monitor the risk and make adjustment to the plan. The entire team on any change. So continue monitoring risk. So because your project, you already planned for some risk at the beginning, does not mean you have to, the risk stops there, because you don't know what can happen. There might be user risk coming up, because user risk can be different from what you can plan for, because users, you don't know what they can be doing with the app. You don't know what they can come up. So something can just happen with maybe tamper with something. So you have to plan for that. Okay, you have to continue monitoring, putting things in the place to check that. Okay, if something happened with these services, if something happened with this project, if something happened with this project, how can I fix it? So you have to put it back into your risk management plan, set the risk matrix for it, put it in your risk register, assign the role to someone to be able to manage that risk, to be able to provide solution to that risk. So continue monitoring the risk, continue monitoring it. So that's how you keep going with the risk management plan. That's part of the part of the risk management plan. So there are five. So that's the 5 project management plan steps. You first identify, you analyze, you determine response, then you create a matrix, then you assign the roles and responsibility, and also you continue monitoring risk. Go front. Benefits. Yeah. So benefit of having a risk management plan. Prepare project team, identify the risks early in the project management process. Prepare your team for potentially disruptive events. Having an organized plan ensures the team can implement it efficiently and navigate challenges more efficiently. So that's where you are sure that because the risk management plan, so it won't be a problem when those risks show up. There's already a plan to solve them already before they show up. So 8 future projects. Project manager creates a risk management plan. They can save them to help plan future products. They may also use them as template to share with colleagues or successors who need to manage the project's management plan. So it makes managing future projects might come our way easy. So instead of them, those any projects we are creating in future, to just start from the beginning, we already have a risk management plan. We can just easily use it, and it saves time already. So we don't need to go through the brainstorming section. We can just keep monitoring and be adding more risk. So yeah. Support project management plan by recognizing potential risk. The project manager can develop contingency budgets or resources that may need to use if the risks occur. As a result, they can impute this contingency into the overall project management document for more accurate planning. So support project management plan. So as you are creating plans and you have a risk management already in place, it helps a project manager to plan very well. So he knows the amount of resources he will need because he has the risks in check. So he knows what he needs to be able to get his planning will be more accurate than someone that don't have a risk management plan. So and help reduce the impact of risks. Part of the risk management process is developing the team response to various tasks by developing strategies in advance. the team may find it possible to limit the effect of particular risk events on the project to avoid them. So after creating a risk management plan, it is easy to avoid or reduce the impact of the risk because there's already a plan in place, because you already think about it in the future. So when it comes up, it's easy to focus face. So it's not like when it just comes up, you're not just going to the board to start analyzing, to start designing strategy, then start implementing, start brainstorming. That would take a while. But once it has been done before the project starts or the project go off, it will be easy to maintain because you already know who to. There's a risk mandate register that keeps them in check to know the person that is responsible for the risk that is coming up. So yeah, I think last slide. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, and that's all for today. Reach me out on my email. Yeah, thank you all for listening. I don't know if you have questions, so you can ask your questions now. And if there are no questions, you can say no questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So if you have anybody that has a question, please let's raise it now. Any question? So if there's no question, I think Mr. Tolu, you can just ask someone one question.
Okay. So Nuruddin, please can you tell me just two of the processes of creating a risk management plan?
Yeah, hello Tolu.
Yeah.
So what did you say again?
I said two of the processes of creating a risk management plan. What are two processes? Just two out of all the processes of creating a risk management plan.
Okay. I can only give some idea because I was actually away for a while.
Okay, let me hear the idea.
Okay. What's even more important is before you can even talk about the management of the risk, you need to, it's quite important for somebody to even, should I use observe, like you need to identify what the risks are you even having in the company. Then you're able to identify the risk, then from there you can, let me say, for example, now you identify a particular risk about the project you are working at the moment, then you can now come up from the way of examining it, like you want to assess it to know what can be done. So how the way you can actually solve to can mitigate that risk, from actually causing